Overwatch 2 will never be the same as Overwatch. I mean, like, I think we all can even agree that Overwatch and Overwatch 2 are two essentially completely different games, seeing that they took out a whole role. They literally removed one of the tanks, and yet, for some reason, whenever Overwatch decided, you know what, maybe we should look at the game and rebalance it in a way to where you don't have to rely on someone for healing or running towards a health pack. Maybe we should rebalance the game in a way to where you actually, heal over time, and the healers, heal you faster. For some reason, I've seen so many brain dead comments talking about how this is gonna ruin the game, and people are afraid that Overwatch 2 is no longer going to be the team-based game that they played whenever they were younger. It's been a decade that we've been playing this game, essentially. In 2 more years, it's going to be almost a decade for us playing Overwatch. And somehow, we still think that Overwatch is a team-based game where everyone strategizes together and everyone's in a 5-stack, and as soon as you even solo queue, everyone's in the comms and willing to work together, and everyone really wants to get the win, when in reality, that's not Overwatch. That's not Valorant. That's not CSGO. That's not Rainbow Six Siege. That is no competitive multiplayer game. No game out there is this team-based game where if you don't rely on your team, then you're gonna lose and you're gonna be very sad about it. That's not how any of these games work. Because at the end of the day, all of these games are just games. Some people get into the game and they really want to win, so they're willing to switch heroes, they're willing to strategize, they're willing to communicate, they're willing to give callouts. And then some people are just like, bro, I just want to play the game because it's fun. At the end of the day, I just want to play the thing that is fun for me. And there's some heroes that if I do play them, I might start winning more, but I don't want to play them because they're boring to me. And that's some people's prerogative. And guess what? Even if you still want to play the game as a team-based tactical game, then do that. Get 5 friends and then play that way. That's literally how video games are made. They are made for you to play it the way you want it to be played. Not like, oh no, you have to switch, or you have to play this character, or else you're gonna get banned from the game and then your purchase is null and void because you played the game the way that it made you happy. Like, I don't understand these people that are mad that Overwatch 2 wants people to be able to play a wider variety of characters, and they're able to make a wider variety of supports that aren't just based around heal. Oh no, someone else is hurt, heal. Can I finally do them? Nope, someone else got hit, heal. Like, no one wants to be a heal bot in Overwatch 2. Most healers that are being released in Overwatch 2 now do more damage than actual healing. So I'm kind of baffled and surprised whenever I see like big streamers too talk about how the game is like this team-based game that is being ruined, and Blizzard doesn't know what they're doing whenever it comes down to making any updates for Overwatch, whenever in reality, these are the same people that you can find clips of them screaming at supports, not healing. There's clips of them screaming at tanks, not switching. There's clips of them screaming at DPS, not playing with the team. And they know that at the end of the day, is the game supposed to be played like a team-based tactical FPS? Everyone's going in, trying to win $1 million prize pool? Yeah, that's how the game was built. But also at the end of the day, it's not enjoyable to be playing that way with 4 other random strangers that very much don't care about you or the win. They just trying to relax at the end of the day. And somehow these streamers and content creators, not all of them obviously, like they'll go through this whole mental process of the game is changing. Oh no, if the game changes and people don't like it, then I might be out of job. So now I gotta write out a tweet where I'm the good guy and I say, no, change bad because I don't like change. And please subscribe to my Twitch channel. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel because I'm the only real player left. I feel like that's what they're doing, is like virtue signaling to the people that don't even care about their channels, or the people that they already have subscribed to them. Because it makes no sense for these people to be like, an update that changes the game? Who would have known that a live service game wants to stay relevant for more than a decade? I mean, like, this is a strategy that many live service game companies that have grandfathered this whole genre of gaming into existence, like League of Legends. For some reason, no one is complaining whenever it comes down to League of Legends, like, oh my god, League is completely different, the graphics are completely different, the gameplay is completely different, it is all fun still? Like, whenever you remove the community aspect of League and the cash shop aspect of League. It's still a pretty good game that gets regular updates, and we've all been playing on the same Summoner's Rift for over 10 years, almost 20 years actually now. And still, somehow they top the charts on viewership, player retention, grabbing our wallets. I hate the amount of money I spent on this. And we all played on one single ever-changing map. The map has been the same, and yet no one in League complains because it's a damn good map that we all enjoy playing on. And whenever they update the map and add in like a new dragon here, or they add in, if they add in a new pit, or maybe a new monster, or a new way to control the Rift Herald, I'm like, we all can say these are pretty meaningful updates to a video game that we all enjoy playing. So why can't Overwatch do that? Why can't Overwatch update their game and then add in new mechanics and take out old mechanics that just don't work anymore? Or our modern, more adult audience just doesn't care about anymore? Because I'll tell you, most healers don't care about healing. A lot of them just want to play the character to play the character because it's only on support. People that like doing the headshot mechanic where you get like 140 damage if you get a headshot with Kiriko want to play her because she does 140 damage per headshot. It's not rocket science. Some people don't care about the healing aspect of support, and it shows. There have been many different games where I've played where the healers are straight up just DPSing. Like, we all know the DPS Moira. And you want to know why? They're just only DPSing and not really focusing on heals? Because it's fun. And they enjoy DPSing. They enjoy doing damage and feeling like they're contributing to the team outside of just pressing a heal button. Like, yes, people want to contribute outside of just healing. There have been so many characters that have been reworked, and yet no one complains saying, I want the old character back. Other than Doomfist, obviously, please give us back Doomfist. That was the worst mistake ever, putting him in tank role and then removing his slam. What was the point of removing his slam and then putting it with his uppercut? I don't understand. Okay, back to the video. But yeah, for the most part, no one really cares whenever you update the game. And even if they do care, give it some time and they won't care anymore. Like, the outrage is over nothing. Like, as a Doomfist player, I'm not gonna lie, I have finally started enjoying Doomfist on tank. Now, would I like DPS Doom back? Yes, there was nothing wrong with DPS Doom, but I have to get used to the changes, and I have finally got used to the changes, and he's not that bad. He's pretty fun to play. He's one of the worst tanks in the whole entire game. Let's call a spade. He is a trash tank, but if he was back on DPS, again, please give us back Doomfist on DPS, he would still be good, even in his current state. I mean, we've already went through a huge change from Overwatch 1 to Overwatch 2. Again, we removed a whole tank, which lopsided the game. Is the game faster? Yeah. Is the game slightly more enjoyable? I guess. But hey, I would be the guy to come out of the corner and say, I like two tanks. Hey man, screw the team play aspect. I like knowing that if I wanted to play the off tank, which we still have a bunch of off tanks that now have to main tank, if I wanted to off tank, I could, and I could rely sometimes on the other tank to play main tank. Or you know what, maybe we both go off tank and we really just destroy. But that's gone now. And you'll hear a lot of these players that are complaining about the heal passives saying that, oh, we didn't need that second tank. That second tank was ruining the game. The second tank was trash. Who would want second tank back, boys? Like, am I right? Like, they're all in this same echo chamber. Second tank is bad for some reason, but they played it for almost a decade. But somehow second tank was bad and it destroyed Overwatch 1. Whenever the only thing that destroyed Overwatch 1 was literally Overwatch 2. The time sink into the game. If we continued playing Overwatch 1 and they continued developing it, we would still most likely have the tank. But they took out the tank so they could at least say, we've changed the game. There's different rules now. There's different aspects of the game that are more enjoyable now because we removed this tank. But if they did it in like a random update and we all were like, yo, what is this? And there was no like new battle pass, there was no new characters, there was no new maps, we all would probably be up in arms seeing that we had nothing else to do at that point. Like we wouldn't enjoy the rest of the game because we already played the rest of the game. The only reason why we enjoy Overwatch 2 now without the second tank is we had time to actually play the game. No one came in here saying like, oh no, they ruined it. People came in here saying like, ooh, new game. Even though it it was the same game, and we all knew it was the same game. But they added in more than enough stuff to where it distracted us from the fact that we only have one tank, boys. Like, this is kind of weird. But even though it was kind of weird, I kind of do like it. Do I miss second tank and I wish there was a game mode that had second tank? Of course. I think that would be so cool, but Overwatch has a different vision for their future, because all games have different visions for their futures whenever they're live service games, because their whole point and their whole purpose is to generate money for the company. Now, do I wish Blizzard would actually come out with, like, I don't know, a single player game, like an everlasting game? Yeah, but all of their games are everlasting and ever changing. All the ones that weren't as profitable as World of Warcraft were pretty much taken out behind the house and shot in the head, because we're not really getting a StarCraft 3 anytime soon, are we? The closest thing we're getting to a StarCraft 3 is a spiritual successor, Stormgate, which I already backed on Kickstarter. I can't wait for that game to come out. It looks pretty good. But yeah, we have seen what many companies, even Blizzard, does to their franchises of games that don't meet their expectations. They take them out to the back and they leave them to rot. And we have seen this plenty of times in plenty of different gaming companies, because at the end of the day, they have to keep servers up. That's a cost. They have to continue bringing out content. That's a cost. And if you're not paying for it, or if you're not playing it, they're not going to provide it. And then the few players left that are like, yo, I love this game is perfect the way it is, and hopefully it never changes, then start to cry over time. We get no updates. How come they abandoned the game? How come they only keep the servers up so we can spend money on the game? And then they go into these delusions of, why doesn't the game get anything new to it? Because you got your perfect game that you never wanted to change. And there it is, for the rest of time, or until it stops making money and the servers go down. And let's all be honest here, are new players annoying? Of course, but they're also extremely necessary. And if you can add in some mechanic or some way for these new players to compete with the rest of the player base, that would be amazing. The rest of the player base, just avoid the newbie stuff. If you want to be this pro cool gamer on the game, just avoid the parts of the game that are a newbie. That's all you have to do. If a new character comes out and you think it's busted, just don't play it. Treat it like a Dark Souls game. The next person you see playing it, they are literally the final boss in Dark Souls. That's how I go about any character that I feel is OP in any game. Because at the end of the day, that's exactly what it's supposed to be. The noob is supposed to feel powerful, and you're supposed to have the challenge saying that you're the veteran player. You should have the mechanics and the skills to outplay any of these people, seeing that you are supposed to be better than them. You have been the person playing the game for longer. Why are you complaining about a skill that gives you like X amount of speed boost, or a skill that gives you passive healing, if you can outplay it? If it's something that's for noobs, then good. Allow the noobs to use it, and then you can just smack them around with it. In my opinion, I really hope that they rework the whole entire support role in Overwatch. I hope they bring in this passive, everyone gives it a year and realizes, oh, it's not that bad, and then Overwatch comes out with new support characters that have zero healing in their kit. I want support characters that actually support the team. Symmetra used to give out shields at one point. Torbjorn and Brigitte used to give out armor. Now they do none of that, because guess what? It was too much for the new players at the time. Us, we all thought that was ridiculous, giving out armor. Now we all know how to play around it. There's characters that allow you to play around it. Even Winston got an update to where now he does damage that ignores armor. So if you want to ignore armor, use Winston. I feel like Overwatch 2 is becoming a different game in itself. It's no longer Overwatch. It is now Overwatch with some new extra bits to it. We've removed some things that we found ridiculous from the old game. We've added in new things that we found that we actually needed in the old game to continue making the game better. And I hope that they actually take this renaissance period of them getting away from their abusive partner Bobby Kotick and going over to sweet daddy Phil Spencer and Microsoft. I hope they take this time to actually realize what this game actually can be whenever they don't have to turn it into an esport, which again, the Overwatch League is dead. If you think you're about to go to the Overwatch League, my guy, your dreams died so long ago. Please stop thinking every game that is a competitive shooter needs to be an esports. It doesn't need to be balanced. All you need to do is compete and be better than the person that you're playing against. If they're playing a character that's better than yours, pick the better character. All right, pick the better one. That's the whole thing about Overwatch. It's about counterplay. And there were some streamers like Flats and Stylosa who said the PvE for Overwatch 2 would have been bad, and they didn't know what they were doing, and Jeff Kaplan wanted too much out of the game, whenever in reality, we don't know if the PvE was gonna be bad. We all were hyped for it. We never got to play the PvE in its fully realized form. Now, yes, did people like Stylosa, XQC, and all of them get to play it back in 2019 technically? Yeah, but the game wasn't even finished back then. Was it bare bones? Yeah, it was just being developed. They were literally just developing it back then. And they had to scrap all of that. Jeff Kaplan left because guess who wanted to put their hand in the cookie jar? Mr. Bobby Kotick. Bobby Kotick didn't want a fun PvE experience that also had a multiplayer aspect to it that you could also play. He wanted an esport. And guess what? He got it, and it failed horrendously, so bad to where he literally had to sell off Activision Blizzard. This man failed so hard at creating a competitive multiplayer shooter to where the whole company had to be sold off to an even larger company so he could pay back the debts to all the other teams that wanted their money back because he ran essentially a scam. This was like an 8-year-long scam that Bobby Kotick was running. And now, guess what? All is right in the world. Bobby Kotick has no control over Activision Blizzard anymore. The people that made the fun games like World of Warcraft, which was what supposedly Overwatch 2 was supposed to be, can now finally make the games that they want and not have to make a game that's supposed to be a $1 trillion franchise. And Overwatch was already a $1 billion franchise, and somehow we don't get any of the love like World of Warcraft does. Somehow, if you're still playing Overwatch in 2024, you're a weirdo for enjoying the game that is very much unlike a lot of other games. Like, yes, at one point, was it essentially just TF2 but Blizzardified? Yeah, but guess what? TF2 doesn't get updates anymore. They haven't got a new character in TF2 in so long. But guess what Overwatch continuously gets? New maps, new updates, new characters, a lot of love and attention, and I'm gonna be here for all of it because guess what? There was at one point where TF2 probably was a garbage fire game. Just like World of Warcraft went from a very high and then to a very low, and now they're probably at peak again. Because guess what? All you have to do is give your favorite games some time to create really good content. You can't create the best content every season. Every season can't be the #1 season of the game. There's some seasons where it's just like, wow, this is a pretty low. And it's because maybe some things got messed up during the development process. Maybe someone ran off with some money. Maybe someone wanted a game that the developers didn't want to make, but the devs decided to stick it out because they need the money at the end of the day. So they just threw some stuff together that looked like what the person wanted, and that's what we got. And now the devs get to make exactly what they want with Overwatch 2. And I cannot wait to see it. In a year or two times, I'm saying this right now, Overwatch 2 is probably going to be on top again. People are going to probably keep playing it. People are going to probably come in flocking to it and being like, wow, how come no one told me Overwatch 2 was this fun? What? They added this part into the game and they did this and they removed this part, which makes the game even better? Like, we don't know where Overwatch 2 is going to be in the next few years, but we know it's going to hopefully at least be in a better spot than what it was. But boys, if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like and subscribe. And also, hit that join button. Become a member. If you guys wanted to see my first thoughts on Malga whenever you first came out, check out this video right here. And I'm also working on a How Do I Explain for Malga coming out very soon. So hopefully whenever that comes out, you boys will enjoy that video too. But other than that, I hope you have a nice night, sweet dreams, and I'll see you all in the next video.